Long story short, they are a dupe. Welcome to today's video, which will be a save or splurge roundup. So I'm going to be going through expensive products and then sort of their lower end dupes or products that are comparable to them, and letting you know whether you should save your money and go with the less expensive option or splurge for the more expensive option. If you're new here, my name is Esty and I'm obsessed with all things makeup, skincare, hair care, and sometimes clothing. So if that interests you, then please be sure to subscribe and like this video. And without further ado, let's get started. So for my first save or splurge items, these are actually, the save item is the newest item I've tried, and this really kind of pushed me to make this video because it was so good. So the save item is the brand new L'Oreal Infallible 24-hour Fresh Wear Foundation in a powder, and I am comparing it to the Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Skin Powder Foundation. So if you've seen my past videos or follow me on Instagram, you already know how I feel about this Makeup Forever powder. It is absolutely incredible. It is the only powder foundation on me that does not look like a powder foundation. Like, it totally sinks into the skin. It looks like I'm wearing a liquid foundation. Like, it doesn't have like that powdery dryness sort of finish that most powder foundations do. And I actually have an entire dedicated video on how I do my powder foundation routine, so I'll link that down below if you are interested. But when I saw that this L'Oreal Fresh Wear Powder Foundation was coming out, I was super duper excited because I absolutely love their Fresh Wear Liquid Foundation. I feel like I've used that since it came out. I use it on my clients because I'm a makeup artist as well. And it's an amazing foundation. So I was like, if that foundation is really as good but in a powder, I need to try it. And let me tell you, this powder is a 12 out of 10. I mean, these are both incredible powders. They are full coverage. I mean, listen, they're not gonna be as full coverage as a full coverage liquid foundation, but they are the most full coverage powders that I have ever tried, and that actually sit really nicely on my skin. And like I said, they don't look powdery. They last really well. So this I've been trying out this week and I am completely floored by it. So let me tell you the price difference. The L'Oreal Infallible is, I want to say $11.99. It's like 11 or 12 bucks. I picked mine up at Amazon, but I think they're carrying it at Walmart now. And then the Makeup Forever is about $38. So it's about $40 versus $12. That's a massive difference. So do I think you should save or splurge? This is really hard. I do think you should save because, I know that like hurts me to say. I do think you should save because, I mean, $12, you can't go wrong, even if you want to try it. But the reason I would say you should splurge is if you're more sensitive to fragrance. So the Makeup Forever powder is not fragranced at all. The L'Oreal powder is very fragranced. It's not like one of those where you open up the plastic and it's gonna like shoot up in your face. It's not as fragranced as like liquid foundations are, but once I put it on my brush, I could definitely smell it. And obviously the smell didn't like linger on my face. It kind of ran away. It didn't bother me, but the main issue I had, or I thought I would have, is that I do have perioral dermatitis, which is a form of rosacea. A lot of time fragrance products irritates that. I did try this a few times and never irritated my perioral dermatitis. But like I said, if you're more sensitive to fragrance and want a really amazing powder foundation, I do say go with the Makeup Forever. But again, if you're not sensitive to fragrance and you don't have that issue, I definitely say save and get the L'Oreal. The next save or splurge items are also foundations. So I'll be comparing the new Huda Beauty Stick Foundation to the Hourglass Vanish Stick Foundation. So the Huda Beauty is a newer foundation that came out. I do have a full 12-hour wear test on my channel, so I'll link that down below if you are interested in it. So these don't have as steep as a price difference as the items I spoke about before. The Huda Beauty is $39 and then the Hourglass is $46. Again, not a huge difference, you know, plus or minus 10 bucks, but I really did want to mention these because I feel like when this came out, the packaging, how it's sort of like this, it's a square, it's not a triangle, but it's kind of angled like this, it automatically made me think of the Hourglass, which is also angled, but it's more triangular. And it does have some different claims. I mean, the finish is pretty much the same. They're both a natural finish. The main difference is just the coverage. This is a medium to full, and this is a full. Now, if you're new here, I do like more of a full coverage because I have a ton of acne scarring, which I need to have covered up. But basically, I definitely say to splurge. Again, not a huge price difference, but I definitely say to splurge on the Hourglass. I have tried like every stick foundation. I've tried the Makeup Forever stick foundation, Anastasia, Wet n Wild, like low-end, high-end stick foundations, and this one just works the best for me. This looked really good at first, but man, after a few hours, it was all over the place. Basically, this would work if your skin is like unproblematic, if you have acne scars, if you have active acne, if you have any type of texture, this really won't work for you. Whereas I feel like the Vanish stick just always works for me. I've used this for years. My skin used to be like really dry. Now it's much more oily. My skin used to be much more clear and youthful. Now I'm definitely sort of getting wrinkles and I deal with acne. So my skin has kind of been going through these changes the last few years, and this has never steered me in the wrong direction. So like I said, you should definitely splurge and try the Hourglass. The next Save or Splurge are two items that I've been seeing everywhere that are supposedly dupes for each other. So we have the Fenty Gloss Bomb, which is $19, and you guys probably already know what I'm going to say, the Maybelline Lifter Gloss, which is $9. So do I think these are a dupe? Do I think you should save or splurge? I think you should splurge. I don't really think that these are a dupe. I feel like when packaging is a little bit similar, everyone's like, oh my God, it's a dupe. Or they just think it's going to be similar. These are quite similar or a little bit similar in the packaging. They have both a very big doe foot. They're both very nice and glossy. But my issue with the Maybelline Lifter Gloss is that I felt like I just had to use a lot of it to get like that glossy look that I wanted to achieve. What I love about the Fenty Gloss Bomb is that I feel like I can put one swipe and it makes my lips look super juicy and plump and bigger and healthier and just overall just does amazing things for my lips. Do I think that the Maybelline Lifter Gloss does this? Yes. But I don't know, for me, I have to put on like a few layers of it to really get like that intense shine that I want and just that result that I want, that I get from the Gloss Bomb. And then I feel like once I put too much, it kind of gets, not that it gets like gloopy and gloppy, but it's like, I feel it on my lips and like, it's just like too much product, if that makes sense. So I definitely think that if you want that juicy, bigger, healthier, just amazing lips, definitely go with the Fenty Gloss Bomb. For the next item, I actually don't have the splurge item because I wanted to splurge my money on it, and then I realized that this was a dupe and I was like, no, I don't need that. So the save item, which clearly I think you should save, is the Ariana Grande Cloud Perfume. So this is a dupe for the Baccarat Rouge 340 perfume, I think that's what it's called. So basically that perfume is a $300 perfume, and I feel like I don't really speak about this so much, but I am like a perfume and fragrance addict. Like I have so many different perfumes. I have so many different home perfumes, candles, diffusers. I'm just like a fragrance addict when it comes to like my body and my home, not my skincare makeup. But anyways, I wanted that for so long. It is a small bottle. I think the smallest bottle is like 300. I want to say that's maybe an 1 ounce, 1.7 ounces, and then the larger bottles, I think they're like 500 to 800. It's crazy. I discovered this like a year or two ago from my best friend Nicole. She was saying that she was like obsessed with it. Her mom wanted it. She wanted to get it for her mom. And I went to the Bloomingdale's counter and I smelled it and I was like, I need this. It's a very sweet scent. If you haven't smelled it before, it's a very sweet scent. It smells like cotton candy almost, but it kind of has this like musky, deep, warm undertone, and it's almost like spicy at the same time. It's just to die for. So I had seen that the Cloud Perfume was a dupe. I think I first saw this on TikTok. So I was like, you know what? Let me just go to Ulta. Let me pick this up. Let me see if it's really a dupe. So what I did was I purchased this at Ulta, and then I also picked up a sample of the Baccarat. They were nice enough to give it to me at the Bloomingdale's counter, and it was like a little like 1 ml like glass sample, like nothing crazy. So I went home, and on one arm I applied this, on the other arm I applied the Baccarat. Let me tell you, not only are they a dupe, like the scent is exactly the same, the Ariana Grande Cloud Perfume lasted on me 3 times longer. So I put it on, I want to say like, let's say 12 p.m. By like 8 p.m. I was about to go in the shower. I clearly, like this arm, clearly smelled this. On this arm, it was like completely gone. The Baccarat was completely completely worn off on me. Obviously everyone's like skin and skin chemistry is like totally different, and some perfumes may last really long on me and not last at all on a different person and vice versa. But definitely if you're interested in that perfume, pick this up. I am shocked by this. It literally lasts on me all day and the smell is just divine. Next up we have lip liners. Just like fragrances, I'm also a lip liner addict. So we have a MAC lip liner and then we have a Morphe lip liner. I'm not specifically comparing like the shades or the colors, just really more the formula, because obviously there are a ton of colors in both brand color ranges. So do I think you should save or splurge? Without a doubt, 100% save, save, save. The Morphe one is $5 and the MAC one, I believe these are like 17 to 20 in that range. Maybe they're like $18. Do not spend $18 on a MAC pencil. Do not spend $18 on a MAC pencil. The Morphe is literally a direct dupe. It applies the exact same. It wears the exact same. My favorite Morphe shades are the one I have right here, Love Bite. I love Sweet Tea, and then I also love Makeup Talk. Next up, I'll be talking about also a relatively new product, which is the e.l.f. Flawless Brightening Concealer. This basically just came out in the last 2 weeks, and I am comparing it to the MAC Prep and Prime highlighter. So basically the e.l.f. is a brightening concealer with this like brush tip, and then the MAC is the same thing. So it's called a highlighter, but it's really like an under eye highlighter. It's supposed to be used as an under eye corrector. So I've used this for years and I have it in my artist kit and it is just amazing. It comes in a variety of different shades. The one I have for myself is like a more peachy undertone. It's super duper thin. You just apply it under the eyes, you blend it out, and then you go in with your concealer on top. So when I received the e.l.f. one a few weeks ago, I was like, wait, this reminds me so much of this MAC product. I'm like, I don't know, are they dupes for each other? Because I feel like the e.l.f. is not marketed as a color corrector. This one is clearly marketed as a color corrector, but I did get a few shades and all of them had this like really peachy undertone. Granted, the shades that I got were cool tones. I wasn't able to get like the neutral tones. They sold out too fast. So I haven't tried the neutral tones. I've only tried the cool tones, and the two shades that I got, one is like very pink and the other one is very peach. Like I wouldn't even call them concealers with like a pink undertone. They were like actual, like looked like color correctors on me. So again, when I tried this, I was like, this is the exact same thing as the MAC. But the issue I have with the e.l.f. is that it creases on me so bad. Like the second I apply it and blend it out, I've tried blending it out with a brush, a sponge, my finger. I've tried this probably like 6 or 7 times at this point, and it just creases on me automatically, like literally. Blend it out, I blink, and then it creases. Also, what I found with this is that this really doesn't have a ton of coverage, and every single time I use this, I actually used it with a regular concealer on top of it. I feel like you could probably use this on your own if you're doing like a very no makeup look or something like super duper minimal. So for that reason, I feel like it's also very similar to the MAC, because this is a product that you would put with a normal concealer on top of it. So if you're looking for a product that's really nice and brightening, that's really nice and thin and will cancel any darkness you have, I definitely say splurge and get the MAC product. Oh, and then I also forgot to mention the price difference. So the e.l.f. is $5 and the MAC is $27. So that's like much more expensive than the e.l.f. But like I said, the MAC is definitely more worth it. Next up, I have the Milani Weekend Brow, and I'll be comparing it to the Glossier Brow Flick, which I literally cannot find anywhere. I flipped over my entire makeup closet and I cannot find it. But anyways, they are both brow products that have like this felt tip. So they're not like a pencil. They're just like this felt tip. Really cool. I feel like they've kind of been like trendy. Anastasia, I know, came out with one also, but I haven't tried that one. So this one from Milani, I believe, is like in the $7 to $8 range. And then the Brow Flick is $14, I want to say. I definitely need to check that. So again, not like a massive price difference, but let me tell you, when I got the Brow Flick, I was like, what is this? I do not like this at all. I guess it also could have been that like I wasn't used to using a brow product like that. They weren't really in style when Glossier came out with it, but I actually recently used it the other day because I got the Milani and I love the Milani. I was like, wait a minute, let me use the Brow Flick because now I'm more like acclimated to it, and I still didn't like it. So basically, long story short, you should save and get the Milani Weekend Brow. Also, you can get this at Ulta, and they always have like sales and promotions, whereas like Glossier, I feel like they have one sale a year. For Black Friday, it's like 10% off. Like, what is that doing for me? The reason I don't like the Glossier is that I feel like I need to pound down and like really push down to get color out of it. And then when I do that, I get like too much color and you can see like the line. Whereas with the Milani, you can just gently brush it on and you get the color and it's not harsh at all. And yeah, I have just been loving this. All right, last but not least, we are finishing this with a bang, okay? Because I am comparing the $12 No. 7 Lift and Illuminate powder to my beloved $45 Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish powder. Okay, let's just talk about the Charlotte Tilbury for a second because I have been using this for years and years and years. I think that this is my third compact of it. I love it. I've used it for years. I feel like I've persuaded every single one of my friends and family members to purchase this because I like cannot stop talking about it. And I have just loved this for so long. Now, enter in the No. 7 powder. I don't know where I saw this, but I had seen somewhere that people were saying that this is a dupe. So the other day I was at Target with my husband and I was like, you know what? The No. 7 powder, it's right here in front of me. Let me just try it out. Let me compare the two and let me just see. In the back of my head, I was like, listen, the Charlotte Tilbury, it's like everything to me. I mean, this is the first Charlotte Tilbury product that I had ever owned, and now I have such a collection of her products, which stemmed from this one product because I loved it so much. Long story short, they are a dupe. I've seen other YouTubers talk about this, how they don't think this is a dupe. Some people do think it's a dupe. Listen, everyone's different. Everyone's skin is different. Do I think that these are a dupe for each other ultimately? Yes. Yes. They are a total dupe for each other. I've used this multiple times and I've done like one half of the face with the No. 7, the other half with the Charlotte Tilbury, 2 different brushes, and it literally looks exactly the same. It feels exactly the same. It's the same amount of powderiness, but like not really. The reason that I love the Charlotte Tilbury so much is because I can put so much of it on and I don't look like I'm wearing powder at all. Same thing with the No. 7 Lift and Illuminate. So one thing I do want to mention, a con to the Charlotte Tilbury powder is that I do not use this to set my under eyes because it oxidizes my concealer. Basically, that means that it makes the concealer color a little bit darker. So I only ever use this to set my face. So today when I was doing my makeup and I knew I was filming this video, I was like, wait a minute, the one thing I didn't test out were my under eyes because I don't ever use this to set my under eyes and I usually bake my under eyes. So today I did not bake my under eyes for that reason so I can compare the two. So the No. 7 did make my concealer oxidize as well, but definitely less than the Charlotte Tilbury. I mean, it wasn't like a stark, dramatic difference, but I did notice that the No. 7 didn't oxidize my concealer as much. So that's definitely also a pro. A con though of the No. 7 is that this is also fragrance. I don't know what's going on. I feel like all the powders that I own from the drugstore, whether they're bronzers, setting powders, loose powders, whatever it is, they're always like very heavily fragranced. So that goes with the No. 7 as well. Again, did not irritate my perioral dermatitis at all, so I will say that. So ultimately, I can't even believe I am saying this after so many years of being a die-hard fan of the Charlotte Tilbury, but I think you should save and try the No. 7 Lift and Illuminate. All right, that is it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, please let me know by giving it a thumbs up and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.